The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Yeomans.
Welcome back to Talkin Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company. We're your hosts. We're here live on a, what is it, Thursday? It's a Thursday.
Yeah, I lose track of the days, too.
We're here on a Thursday. I'm Josh Rodriguez, here with Patrik Walker, here with Tommy Yarrish, here with Isaiah Stanback. I am Stanback on Twitter. Also Christopher Beamer in the background, and also Jazz Maine in the background.
Jazz.
Doing their thing.
Jazz.
Jazz and Beamer.
It is a beautiful Thursday morning. It is a Thursday.
You had to say that so you can remind yourself that it's Thursday.
It's not Friday.
It's not.
I definitely didn't think it was Friday at all.
It's just weird. These past couple games been a 4-day span, then you get the mini bye. Yeah, I forget what day it is.
11 days.
Yeah, don't feel bad.
Yeah, it's a little nuts, but it's good to be here with you boys, hosting a Talkin Cowboys Thursday. We've got lots to talk about. Patrik Walker, do you want to kick us off with some news and notes?
Yeah, we can do that. Let's do it. So because we have the Cowboys, I should say, have a Monday night game, the first injury report will not be dropped until today, Thursday. They did practice yesterday, but no injury report, and it was more of a mock-through / walk-through as described by head coach Mike McCarthy ahead of the actual practice. Had some players who weren't present during the media portion, like C.D. Lamb, Brandon Cooks, unsure because we didn't get a practice report, unsure if those guys appeared after the open portion was closed to the media, so we're not sure. But we do know that there's some rehab work going on with that CD in his shoulder, but again, he's expected to play. We'll see if that expectation holds true as soon as today when we get their injury report. Cowboys did make a couple of transactions. They worked out 4 players, all cornerbacks. 2 cornerbacks have been added to the practice squad. One is D. Delaney. A little background on Delaney. He was an undrafted cornerback to the Jaguars back in 2018 out of the University of Miami, Florida, by way of the Citadel. He's 29 right now. Bit of a journeyman before the age of 30. This is going to be his 7th club since joining the NFL in 2018. His best season, his most productive season, plural, I should say, was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of practice squad work before then with the Dolphins, the Jets, the Washington Commanders. Those guys. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he spent 2 or 3 seasons there, had 5 starts, 52 games available, 3 interceptions, 7 pass breakups, and 71 combined tackles. So he does have some experience that he brings, actual game experience, not simply being in the league experience, but he's been out there. Rotational, but he's done some things. Troy Pride, ex-4th-round pick of the Panthers in 2020, out of Notre Dame. I'm sure Maris Leofau will love that. He is 26 years old. He spent his first couple of seasons with the Panthers, and that's his only NFL experience as far as in-game experience. He had 8 starts in 14 games, 2 pass breakups, 42 combined tackles, but his subsequent 3 teams, because this is the 4th after the Panthers, all practice squad stints. So he wasn't able to earn his way back onto the field after his stretch with the Carolina Panthers. So look at Pride and Delaney as both rotational insurance guys. Obviously, you don't know if Trayvon Diggs is going to be back on this field come Monday. He's missed the last 2 games with a couple of injuries. So, Amani Oruwariye got it.
Nailed it.
Yes, his 21-day practice window was activated on yesterday. So 21 days to figure out if his season is going to be over or if he's going to be moved to the active 53-man roster. But keep in mind, you lost Josh Butler to IR. You lost Caitlin Carson to IR. You need insurance at that position. What does Pride and Delaney give you? Not much, to be honest with you, but again, these are practice squad insurance players. They're not going to be expected to step in immediately, if ever, and actually make a huge impact on the game. Now,
Question about these guys in particular and the workouts in particular. I think any inquisitive fan will see a certain name on that list.
Yeah, that's where I was going with
Xavien Howard.
Xavien Howard. They did work out Xavien Howard. Also Joshua Bledsoe, but Bledsoe is in the same vein as Pride and Delaney as far as if he were to be added, whether it be next week, if at all, then it's depth, insurance, practice squad rotation.
And he's more of a safety, right?
He is more of a safety. Xavien Howard, however.
Notable name, for sure.
Notable, former 2-time All-Pro, former NFL interceptions leader with the Miami Dolphins.
What happened?
I'm assuming that they either couldn't come to terms on money, which is most likely when you're talking about a player of Xavien Howard's caliber. Now, again, he's not peak Xavien Howard. However, realistically speaking, he's going to command more money on the open market than Delaney, Pride, and Bledsoe.
Well, you saw a similar situation with Carl Lawson whenever he came for a workout.
So he came in for the workout. They went in a different direction. Money-wise. And then a couple weeks later, 2 or 3 weeks later, they circled back to Carl Lawson.
But you can only command what somebody's willing to pay.
That is also true.
To my knowledge, nobody's paid that this year.
Yeah, and the season's almost over. So he has decisions to make for himself as well.
The sands of time.
His value is a little higher than others.
That depends. It's higher than the others on this workout. I will say that. Now, if you're Xavien Howard, you could kind of finesse this situation in that he knows his value. He knows that he still brings an impact to the game. And maybe he gets an offer here or two from a playoff team, someone who has a chance to kind of go deep into the playoffs. Maybe he's weighing that as well versus the situation the Cowboys are in. Several variables are at play here, but they did work out Xavien Howard. No deal has been struck. Does that mean that won't remain the case over the next few days? Not necessarily, but again, if you're Xavien Howard, you're looking at the totality of the marketplace. And I'm sure that the Cowboys, if they made an offer yesterday, I'm sure they're not the only ones to make it. And then again, you look at the record, albeit a 2-game win streak, they're still, as Jerry Jones labeled it, outlandish odds when regards to the playoffs. You have other teams that will make the playoffs and might need his services and then might be willing to pay more for said services. So, he's doing his due diligence. Cowboys are doing their due diligence, and just right now they're not on the same page.
Tommy, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think Patrick nailed it. I mean, it's an interesting part of the year because you think about how much money a guy like he would command at this point, and it's just a situation where there's only going to be certain teams that are going to be willing to pay that amount of money for his services, considering what they've got at stake, who they've got in their cornerback room. But no, so I think when these two adages yesterday, some might think, oh, that's probably not a great sign for Trayvon Diggs. But at the same time, I don't know if that's as much a tip of the hand towards Diggs' availability, aside from the fact, man, they're just so thin at corner. They are so thin at corner. So so it makes sense to me why they would do that, regardless if Diggs plays or not. It's good to get Oruwariye back. Pride Jr. had the torn ACL in 2021, so he missed the 2021 season and the 2022 season before bouncing around to practice squads, but he's a fast corner. I think he can play a little bit, and then Delaney's obviously got the experience, like Patrick outlined. 3 career interceptions. He had those 3 years in Tampa Bay where he looked pretty good. And then he signed with the Bills in the offseason, but he was placed on injured reserve, and then they waived him. So this is kind of his second chance after that. So good depth pieces, but I wouldn't count on them being leaned upon too heavily, I don't think, unless
Isaiah,
it's necessary.
Do you expect to see anything out of these?
Yeah, I think they're going to play.
You think they're going to play?
Yeah, I don't think you have a choice. I mean, where else you go?
Yeah.
I don't.
Fair.
Unless y'all got somebody hidden in the locker room somewhere.
Nope.
These guys have to play.
Especially if Trayvon's not ready for.
I don't have faith that he's playing. I don't.
Actually, I don't disagree.
Yeah, for a number of reasons.
We'll see what the injury report says, but I'm operating under the assumption that
he
probably won't play.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I have no sense
that.
Do we
my
know?
Spidey sense is saying he's not playing, but I don't know anything, obviously. But I think not only are the insurance pieces, but these guys need to play. When you talk about Xavien Howard, when you're in a position like him and you're a veteran and you're a proven veteran, you're at this point of the season, you're like, well, I've waited this long. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, either you guys give me the bag, or again, I'm gonna go try to go chase a ring,
or go play for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, better chances there, obviously. All right, let's move on. Locker room yesterday, you guys had some availability with some of the players. correct?
We did. It was a little bit of a thinner locker room because especially the rookies, they were blessing the unfortunate. So they were uploading a lot of the Christmas gifts for Salvation Army onto the truck and everything. And once they were done with that, they had team meetings. And so we were able to get a few people. Brevin Spanford spoke. I know Mozzie spoke with media. I wasn't able to get with him because I was speaking with Eric Kendricks with a one-on-one Q&A. And who else spoke yesterday? DeMarvion Overshawn spoke yesterday. So did speak to a couple guys. I know that Tommy was in on Demo and Brevin while I was off talking to Eric Kendricks. So, but Demo is very much Demo. I'll let because Tommy wrote an excellent story, folks. Check it out on the .com. I'll let him tell you what Demo was saying about the 11 and the 13.
So Patrik is the science guy here, right?
Yeah, science.
I won't say I'm the math guy because I hate math and I'm not good at it. But let me ask you this: 11 plus 13, what is that?
24.
24 for most, right? Here in Dallas, 11 plus 13 equals problems for opposing offenses.
Ooh.
When you've got, I know I was proud of that headline. When you put Micah Parsons and DeMarvion Overshown on the field at the same time, good things happen. And I think Demo hit the nail on the head. He said, Micah was right. He said, I'm not quite 11, but I'm 13. And that's all we need. We don't need two number 11s. We've got an 11 and we've got a 13. So when you put them together on the field this season, you've gotten 112 tackles, 11 and a half sacks, 14 tackles for loss, and a pick six.
And you have number 11 missing significant time.
Exactly.
Pretty pick six.
A very pretty pick six.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
one of the best
by
plays of any defender in the league this year.
Which, by the way, he didn't say was the best play of his career. He said it was top 2 because the other play was a play that he made his junior year that got his recruitment started. It was like a big hit that he put on. I was trying to find it, but he has like 80 big hits that he put on in his junior tape.
Big hit just doesn't hit the same as that tip pick six to yourself.
That's crazy. That's
Chris,
crazy.
you got to hit us with that boy good.
That boy good.
He is. But yeah, so that's Demo was talking more about how that boy is good. Thank you.
My God.
When Mike is on the field, it opens, since he gets so much attention, it opens things up for Demo and for some of the rest of the guys, like we've seen Carl Lawson come along here in the last couple of weeks. So that's what he was talking about. And then Brevin, Patrik wrote an equally great piece on Brevin and the tight end room.
I love it. Mutual appreciation.
Patrik and I have a nice off.
We're writers.
Like all time.
We're singing and we're writing.
Smooth. So thank you for the segue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for the segue. So Brevin Spanford, in listening to his interview, one thing stuck out for me, and it's the fact that he said the game is slowing down for me. Pre-snap, not just once the ball is snapped and he's able to make faster decisions. He said that he's seen the defense more as a whole and being able to dissect that more as a whole. And he obviously, a lot of that comes from the teachings of Lunda Wells and Mike Zimmer, but Mike McCarthy. But at the same time, a lot of this is the leadership and the mentorship of Jake Ferguson. So when you look at Jake Ferguson being the unequivocal leader of that tight end room, you're starting to see certain attributes of Jake Ferguson trickle down to Schoonmaker and
for sure,
and Brevin Spanford alike. And that goes with one of the issues, or I should say opportunities for improvement, that Brevin Spanford had coming into the league this year was he needed to improve his blocking. Okay, he's done that, and you're starting to see a commitment to that, and that's not a coincidence. That's a Jake Ferguson thing. Jake Ferguson has, over the past couple of off seasons, he bulked up. He really got in the lab to put on his blocking weight. But then also look at the demeanor between the lines. Now, outside of the lines, Brevin Spanford and Luke Schoonmaker, there is jovial and calm and cool, but between the lines, demon time. Well, doesn't that remind you of Jake Ferguson? Because outside the lines, Jake is Jake, right? Jake is bubbly, he's fun, but then in between the lines, ask Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams can tell you, that's a dog wearing that number, right?
So that's daddy now.
That's daddy now. He's Papa. So you're starting to see Brevin Spanford.
He just got picked up.
He did?
He did. I saw it.
By whom?
Let me check that.
It
was Detroit.
For why?
Detroit picked him up.
Oh, they just got weaker in the secondary. But Brevin Spanford, he's increasing his ability to block. He's showing more of a prowess as a pass catcher, but also when you look at him being targeted, he's reeling in most of the targets toward his way, right? I think he had 100% catch rate against the Giants. I think like an 80% catch rate in the week prior. So he's taking the advantage of his opportunities, making the most of them. And you just love to see that because as Jake works to come back, and we don't know if he'll be clear for Monday, but we know this is his tight end room. Look toward 2025. And looking toward 2025 and even coming into 24, the question was, who complements Jake Ferguson? Right? You know, you brought in Span Ford, which means more or less, and we talked about this, Isaiah, a lot on the show. Well, at least Hendershot was pretty much was gone.
It's finally starting to look like Schoonmaker.
Right, that's
finally.
what I mean. For as maligned as Schoonmaker has been, because he's a second-round pick and not delivering, and it's starting to click for him, and it's starting to click for Span Ford. So are we looking at a 3 tight end situation as far as ability going into 2025 and look at the age of each one of these guys? It's very promising for that tight end room. If this trend continues, the tight end room will be one that you have zero concerns about in 2025 and 26.
As long as you can retain Linda Wells.
100%.
That's true.
Say that louder for the people in the back.
As long as you can retain Linda Wells.
Absolutely.
He's like, my voice is gone, man. What are you doing?
My voice,
I
can't fluctuate today, but
well, at least
get to Joe Clark.
That's a priority. I need
we
people
were
to understand that.
The enemy is at the door.
The reason why you're able to talk about the depth of that room is because of the person who's developing those players.
100%. And I think we were expecting more from Jake Ferguson this year. I mean, granted, we were talking about him having an all-pro season in the offseason, but the offense has been what the offense has been.
To be fair, it's because we were expecting more of the offense.
100%. However, you love to see that Jake Ferguson is not only doing his best on the field, but off the field now too, and building the tight end room around him, which is clearly what you're seeing with Schoonmaker, Brevin Spanford, and hopefully John Stevens in the future.
Heal up, man.
One more thing I wanted to bring up from yesterday. Mike McCarthy responded to Dak Prescott's comments from his interview earlier in the week. I kind of wanted to get on that because he was a little confused, right? He was a little, I don't know.
I'll put it this way. I've not known Mike McCarthy to be a liar, so I don't think he was doing intentional damage control there to try to protect the front office. I think he was genuinely confused because he hadn't heard the comments, and that's why he was like,
What were his comments?
Well, he said that he has more input in the Cowboys organization than he did in any aspect of Green Bay or any stop prior to, right? So, but again, subjective. We talked about this yesterday, Isaiah. What does that mean? Having the most
in what area?
Having the most of his illustrious NFL coaching career. Is that 50%, and was it 40% in Green Bay? Is that 70% here? Was it 50? I don't know.
And again, was it like what department, right? What aspect of your operations do you have more say in? Is it personnel?
Personnel and draft was where he had more input in. Here. In the draft process and the player personnel process.
Your face always tells.
That was his clarification.
What are your thoughts on the matter?
Thanks for the clarification.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. The response makes sense, or you think
where he has more say?
Makes
sense. That's not where I think all of us, nor Dak, may have been leaning towards in regards to his insight and his impact on this team. It's pick your poison. If you're not going to have all access and not have all say, then which area do you want to have more force? Do you want to have more in personnel? Do you want to have more in decision making? Do you want to have more in discipline? And whatever it might be, right? Sometimes you just don't get everything that you want.
Hey, Dak, call in.
Call in.
Let's talk.
Zach, give us a call. You have my cell phone.
Let's
just
get
give
some
us
clarity.
All right, boys. When we come back from our first break, we will need to preview the Dallas Cowboys offense versus the Cincinnati defense and what is left of it. And we also have Isaiah's QB vision.
Hey.
And one more thing, just another thing to add on top of all of that. Can the Dallas Cowboys afford to get into a shootout with the Cincinnati Bengals offense? More from Talkin Cowboys right after this.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code Cowboys VIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code Cowboys VIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Welcome back to Talkin Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, trusted since 1877.
Where's the bowl?
Bring out the good. And buy your oats from the internet using the QR code on the left-hand side.
Sick.
Oats on the internet, baby, just like our forefathers intended.
Yep. Via drone. Drone delivery,
And their
too.
powdered wigs.
Yeah.
And their maple oats. You know what I mean?
Just as Utah intended.
All right, boys. First off, I wanted to ask, we have to get into the offensive preview. Isaiah, do you want to kick us off? Do you feel good enough to kick us off with some
Isaiah's dealing with his voice.
Yeah, his voice is not quite there.
Like Justin Timberlake. Yeah, let's talk about it. Beamer, what you got for me?
Wide 80. Wide 80. It's time for QB Vision with Isaiah Stanback.
What if you're out the line and you're trying to call, but like your voice is gone?
Silent count.
That's a guy who's been there before.
Yeah.
Silent count. Absolutely. Yep.
You can't do
claps.
You can't do a wide.
No, can't do it. But I can do this. All right, guys. No, can't get that high today, unfortunately. Shortest QB vision of all time. These teams, defensively, they suck. They suck. I can't really say. Never mind. Those guys are all bad. They're bad. They have a handful of guys defensively. Obviously, they have the leader in sacks on their team. Can't look past that whatsoever. And Trey Hendrickson, he's nice. He's a dude. He's a high effort guy. When you think about what Detroit had in Aiden Hutchinson, he's like that, right? He's just a high effort guy. Doesn't really stop. Not necessarily crazy with a bunch of moves, but just. He's gonna keep coming. So you need to get some bodies on him. Need to find a way to slow him down. He typically lines up over there on the right hand side. So that's Terrence Steele's best friend this week. So get friendly with him and find some inner anger. In terms of why do they suck defensively? Well, they suck defensively because they suck at tackling. They just don't tackle well.
The details.
I don't understand why they don't tackle well. We're at the highest level of competition, and everybody on their team seemingly is having the same problem. In their head, their run
sounds like a coaching issue.
Possibly. In their head, they are a run-stopping defense. That's what they believe themselves to be. In their head.
Yet they can't tackle. That sounds like a recipe for a bad defense.
It does. And it shows. It shows up. These guys want to play single high, but as of late, as they've been playing more passing teams, they've been playing a lot more two high shell. The reason why they want to play single high is because their personnel, especially at the second level, is built to stop the run. These guys get these guys out in space, and they are terrible. They cannot move two different directions to save their life. You get them going one way, they are going that way only because their hips are locked up like Akon. So underneath routes, crossing routes, things of that nature, they find trouble with. So they go to too high shell to try to assist with some of those things by pressing up. You might have saw the game last week where there was an interception, ran back for a pick six, things of that nature. That was Pickens slipped on a route. That's all that was. That wasn't necessarily great defense. They like to play cover
wasn't
two.
Great coverage either.
Wasn't great coverage. He was playing his own. It just came to his hands. Jugs machine. So it wasn't nothing that they did amazingly. So I know people will look at that and think that, oh yeah, that was great. What a great play. It wasn't. It just happened to be in the right place at the right time. They play cover 2 a lot. Whenever they do go too high shell, they'll try to go cover 4 at times, which means that they have the 4 guys in the secondary are all playing a quarter of the field. The problem with that is they are like the okay. Let me put it like this. And Beamer remembers him. There was a fullback that we had here named Mr. Anderson. All right, Deion Anderson, number 34, and Deion was a beast of a player. He's a goon, one of those cats you want on your team. And you tell Deion, hey, I want you to go get 34. Deion is going to track down 34. I don't care if 34 goes to the toilet. He's going to go up the tunnel, go into the locker room. He's going to sit right there with him.
Full Paul Pierce. That's
how their secondary plays. Their secondary locks in on one guy. It's almost like they get told before they break the huddle, that's your guy you're responsible for. If he comes at you, go get him. They're like, okay. And they don't see anything else. They have their Madden awareness has to be below 20 because they don't see anything. There's bait and switch things that you do obviously as an offense to once you understand that they're in certain coverages.
Because you can quickly diagnose that. I can say, okay, all right, this is the coverage. The aggressiveness.
Yeah. If you're in cover 4, I'm going to sit a guy tight. I'm going to run a tight end at your inside slot receiver. I'm going to grab your safety and I'm going to run a post over the top. And they're like, okay, well I got my guy though, right?
Yeah.
So you can get these guys. They don't disguise well at all. Probably the worst disguised team that we've faced to date. If they're blitzing, it's literally like somebody standing right behind you, like, "Hey, hurt, go ahead and blitz, It's like, "Well, you about to cover my guy? Yeah, I got your guy. Don't worry about it. Just go." And quarterback sitting there looking at him like, "I hear y'all and I see y'all." So easy to.
I'm not the mic. That's
exactly. That's not me.
Not the mic.
So combination of them thinking that they're a run-stopping team, and they don't tackle well. When they try to go to coverage, they go to cover 2, and there's a lot of gaps in their second. And in order to play cover 2, your second-level defenders have to be able to cover some range, right? Because you're asking 3 guys to cover that whole middle of the field. You're asking your corners to sit within a 5-yard window. They don't cover well or change directions well. So that cover 2 and 2 high safety shell doesn't work well for them. They try to play man-to-man defense. They don't have the guys to play man-to-man outside at the cornerback position. And then they don't have vision or awareness. So that's a combination of why they're so bad defensively and why teams have been running it up on them. But the one guy who can present you problems is over there at the right defensive end position. And if he does get home, now these guys in the secondary and at the second level become better players. Right, no different than when Micah came back and this defense has been playing better.
But it doesn't sound like we're going to get a lot of too high.
No, they're going to try. Well, yeah, they're going to try to make you prove it. Right. I think the reason why they play so much too high against Pittsburgh is because Pittsburgh has weapons. Mm-hmm. Right. Pittsburgh has Pickens. They have Austin. They have guys that can catch the rock. Dallas has to prove that they can do that, and not to say that Dallas doesn't. So obviously we have CeeDee Lamb and B. Cooks is back now. But call it how it is. Cooper Rush does a good job of making sound decisions majority of the time, but his velocity is trash. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm sure he'll work on it this offseason. But right now, I mean, his ball comes out like, I don't even know.
Molasses.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, and I don't know what happened. It wasn't always like that.
Right. The release is there, but
yeah, he used to anticipate.
No
the thing about Cooper Rush, he never had a super powerful arm, but he used to do a really good job of making up for that, the lack of that, with anticipating his throws, and the ball would be there on time, so you didn't feel that lack of velocity. Now I think it's a combination of him waiting for guys to come open, and then his lack of velocity is being exposed because you're seeing it. You're like, what the heck's taking this ball so long to get there? Right, rather than if they would have released the ball before the guy come out of his break, you're not thinking about that because as soon as he comes out the break, the ball's there. So I don't know what can be done there, but that's why you're starting to see teams squat a lot more because they're not threatened. They've seen it. They're like, you can't throw it. You can't throw it past 40 yards. You can't throw it. Anything past 30 yards, the ball's hanging in the air for a minute. Yeah. And I think they're realizing that. So now that makes it so much more difficult even in your running game because now they can load the box and say, we can play one safety over the top because it's not going past them.
Yeah.
Well, and what works in Cooper Rush's favor is a stat that I dropped in Lab Coat yesterday in that Cooper Rush, his 2.2 second time to throw is the second best of all starting quarterbacks in the league, but second to only Tua. And Tua is trigger fast back there. So the fact that he's only behind Tua, that lets you know that he's getting it out there fast. But that also makes it difficult to blitz Cooper Rush because he's getting the ball out so fast. Now, here's the thing, though. The Bengals don't necessarily like to blitz anyway. They like to keep 8 back and rush 3 because Trey Hendrickson is up there in 11.5 sacks leading the league. He's doing damage. You got to find a way to neutralize him or at least slow him down and force the game on other people.
Before you get too deep in it, I want to comment on something before it gets lost.
It's QB vision, baby. Hit
the reason why Tua's release is so fast is because they're protecting him.
The reason why Cooper's is so fast is because they're not protecting.
No, the reason why Cooper's is so fast is because they're protecting him as well, protecting him from his lack of ability to put the ball down the field.
Oh, you mean from a coaching, from a scheme standpoint?
So it sounds like it's a great stat statistically, but Tua's being protected and make sure he doesn't get any more concussions. Yeah, that's why they're getting the ball out of his hand.
And if you're looking at Cooper Rush's pass tree, he's not throwing it down the field. Like it's a
lot
of it.
We talked about that because until the last game or ish, I want to say he was lacking the 20+ yard. Not just throws and completions, but air yards.
And they weren't going either. They weren't good balls whenever he did throw them. Anyway.
So when you look at a play like what Cavante was able to do and take it, 64 yards, that's not an actual 64-yard touchdown pass, right? That's like 8 air yards, and then the rest is all yak. But I see what Isaiah's saying. He's saying the coaching staff and McCarthy with the play calling, they're protecting him. I'm saying the O-line has not been protecting him. So there's that aspect of it as well. But this is a defense in the Bengals, and I hate to say it because these are NFL players. I'm not going to say they're trash, but I am going to say they suck at playing defense. Like, it's not good. They're wide open against the run. Run this ball with Rico Dowdle. Run it. What's one of the best ways to neutralize an elite pass rusher?
Running the football.
You run the football. You run it right at him. Run it right at him. Okay. I also talked about yesterday.
Goal line stance at the 25. I'm telling you.
Also talked about yesterday in lab code when Trey Hendrickson is off the field. You really need to take advantage of dropping back then because their pass rush drops 10 percentage points when he's not on the field, all the way to 32nd. Worst in the league at rushing the passer when that guy's off the field.
But when is he coming off the field? Because if you have the number 1 pass rusher in the league, he's not coming off the field on third down.
Right. And I love you for this. Time of possession. You need to make sure that not only are you getting takeaways as the Dallas defense, but you need to stop with the 3 and outs. You need to convert on third down. You not only need to score if you're Cooper Rush in the offense, you need extended drives.
Sustained drive.
And what helps extended drive?
Conversions, no drops. I love your CD, and I know that was that was an aberration.
That was one game.
Right. So make sure you're catching the ball. Make sure you're running the ball effectively. Right? You wear down a guy like Trey Hendrickson. So by the time the middle of the third quarter comes, the fourth quarter comes, he's just gassed because he's their Superman. He's tasked with doing everything. He has 11.5 sacks. Second most on that team is 2. Run the ball, run it at Hendrickson, tire him out, and then the chunk plays will come.
So Isaiah mentioned that the Bengals defense is not great at tackling. Right?
That wasn't his word, but he was more mean.
Well,
he's mean.
Okay.
Trash.
He said what he said about their ability.
He used the T word.
He said that they said about their ability to tackle. Here's the counterpoint to that, and here's what's going to make this game, I think. Cowboys running backs have forced the 6th fewest missed tackles, 61, and gained the 4th fewest yards after missed tackles, 290, amongst all running backs in the league. However, Cowboys wide receivers have forced the most missed tackles this year with 36.
Say more.
And gained the 3rd most yards off of missed tackles, 256. So
I like that.
That's
more things.
That's
like
good.
That.
Yeah, that's good. See, we're positive around here. No, but I completely agree with Patrick. Like I said yesterday, there's 2 ways. There's 2 avenues for Dallas to win this game: a shootout, or you run the ball and you just drain the clock.
Excellent segue, because my question leading into the break was, is there enough on the Dallas Cowboys offense to get into a shootout with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals?
Absolutely not.
The reason why Joe Burrow and them are so dangerous in their ability to light up the scoreboard is because you have to respect the entire field.
Every
layer, the first wave, the second layer, the third layer. The D line can't relax, the linebacker can't relax, the secondary safeties can't relax. They can go over the top, they can work you underneath, they can run the rock, they can do any way you want to play it, they can play it. But they want to throw it around. Dallas currently has not proven that they possess that ability to do consistently. And to some of those things, in terms of what I just finished talking about as far as Cooper Rush, once a team is able to acknowledge that you are having struggles pushing the ball down the field with consistency and accuracy, it's tough. Passing,
they can take more risks.
Passing gets tough because now those safeties get closer and closer and closer, and those corners, guess what? They get more aggressive because they're no longer worried about getting beat over the top. You can beat me over the top, but I'm going to have a chance at the ball once it gets there because it's probably going to be thrown behind.
Yeah, the answer is no.
The answer is no.
Cowboys are not winning the shootout against this offense, against that Bengals offense. So don't even allow it to happen because they'll hang 50 on you, and
without blinking.
Right, and then you with your backup quarterback and Cooks is only second game back, and CeeDee Lamb's shoulder is hurting. And will you have Jake? Will you not have Jake? You have questions. They don't have offensive questions. Okay, so don't get in the shootout. Control time of possession, run the ball, and also sidebar, flipping right back to the defense really quickly. Shout out to STX Mario. He reminded me, Logan Wilson had a surgical procedure done. He's not playing in this game, and that's over 100 combined tackles that's taken off of the field, right? So as poor as their defense has been playing, one of the best players on their poor defense is not on the field anymore.
Well, we do not want to see. Did you guys watch the Hard Knocks with the AFC North?
Yes.
We don't want to see Joe Burrow and him talking about his new Batmobile. He said he would break out his Batmobile. Did you guys see that $3 million Batmobile? He said he bought one, and he said he would break it out if he throws for 500 yards and 7 touchdowns. Please don't let it be you.
Don't let that be you.
I don't remember what game it was, but there was a game where Tony Romo was on the call, and you know how they have like the little yellow marker that they circle things with? Somebody ran a long touchdown. He just went. That's what Jamar Chase is going to do if this game gets into a shit. It's going to be and he's going to be running all over the field. Nobody's going to be able to tackle him.
And he'll catch from anywhere.
And he'll catch from anywhere, and he'll run from anywhere. He'll run after the catch from anywhere. He can beat anybody in this league. He is that good.
He is that good.
So if the way that Dallas wins this game, you run the ball on first down, you run the ball on second down, and you set yourself up with thirds and twos, thirds and threes, and you run the ball again. You run the ball again. Rico Dowdle's averaging north of 4 yards a carry this year.
Wear him down.
Last I checked, and again, this is math guy here, 4 times 3 is 12. You need 10 yards to pick up a first down.
Come on, you think like me. That's why I would run the crap out of the ball. But to that point, to add on to what you just said, that was awesome. You're going to get everything that Cincinnati has.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Because this is the determining factor whether they stay in the playoff hunt or not. It's already outside. It's an outlier right now. For
it's
them.
An outlandish probability.
Yeah, it is.
Equally outlandish for them.
But but you still have to include them in the conversation of potential if they win this ball.
You can never count them out when Joe Burrow's.
Now, if they lose this game, it's over. Right? Their season's done. So
they're desperate.
Knowing that the offense wins us ball games, you're going to get everything.
They're emptying the playbook.
And they are so angry off of last week. You are going to get absolutely everything that they have. They're going to come out and they're going to line up in 4 wide receivers and say, we seen your injury report and we throw the ball all over the field. Good luck.
The Cowboys are equally desperate. We have to go to our final break. When we come back, more on this the Cincinnati Bengals defense, and one player outside of Lance Hendrickson that we need to be wary of going into this game when we come back on DallasCowboys.com.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we're going to overtime.
Erica, how much have I spent on concessions? For questions about their money, Dallas Cowboys fans can turn to Erica, the virtual financial assistant in the Bank of America mobile banking app. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/Erica by your side. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Erica responses may vary. Digital tools featured require downloading the mobile banking app and may only be available on select mobile devices. Erica is a mobile feature only available in the English language. Your chat may be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Message and data rates and additional terms may apply. Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Welcome back to Talkin' Cowboys. Our final segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. All right, boys, time to get into. So you need to pick up your point. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, I was going to say.
Also, it was Trey Hendrickson. I'm sorry.
You're fine. I was going to say, speaking to the Bengals defense. All of these things that we're saying about how abysmal that defensive unit has been performing is absolutely true. It is historically bad. One of the worst NFL defenses in the past half decade. Go back and check out yesterday's episode of Lab Coat for the numbers that support that. That being said, any given week, don't let this be the week that they have a good game. They're not going to have 17 horrible games, okay, in a season. That means that 2 or 3 of these weeks at the course of this season, they're actually going to either be solid or maybe even have that aberration of a good game. Well, don't take the cheese is what I'm saying.
100%. And if you look at the Cowboys before this 2 crazy game, win streak, the Cowboys have been a get right team. You play them
talked about that.
To get right.
Right. And
you can't let that happen. And to kind of piggyback on what Isaiah was saying right before we took the break is that of course, the Bengals are desperate to win this game, right? The Cowboys are equally as desperate, if not more, because there is a glimmer of hope of getting into the playoffs if we win out. There should be a lot of desperation on both sides. I think it's going to lead to a really good game. And part of me is like, okay, maybe this is when Mike McCarthy is able to get into his bag, and we might have.
I think you got to start,
for lack of better terms, a shootout.
Emptying the playbook. But I mean, when you have Jamar Chase indirectly calling out his own defense in the locker room.
What did he say?
Well, when he was asked about the defense, and he paused and he looked over at the defensive side of the locker room, came back to the cameras, shook his head and said, they got to figure it out. And then he caught himself and said, we got to figure it out. Too late. You already said they got to figure it out. That's where his mind frame is. You add that to the fact that all this...
What's there to figure out when you've scored 38 points?
Right. All this defense has been hearing over the past several weeks is how awful they are, how trash they are. As grown men and competitors... Don't let this be the week where they come in and say, we're tired. Enough is enough. And what better team to send a message against than the Dallas Cowboys, who teams love to send the message against, right?
And when's the game again?
Monday night. It's prime time.
Prime time.
Joe Burrow in prime time. And their defense.
How many games are on that day?
This is the one.
Just the one.
Oh.
That the whole nation
Stand
is watching.
alone.
So I say all of that to say, yes, it is true that Bengals defense is it's abhorrent. It is absolutely abhorrent. But sun shines on the dog's buns every once in a while. The actual quote, shouts out to Wesley Snipes and White Men Can't Jump. So don't let it shine on the Bengals defense on Monday.
Well, we only have a few minutes left, boys, so I just want you to give me a player on that side of the ball, on the defense for Cincinnati, aside from Hendrickson, that we need to be wary of going into this Monday Night Football game.
Joseph Osai.
Tell me about Joseph Osai.
Hook him.
Tommy already did. Never mind.
Is it Saturday yet?
Nah, sadly not yet.
I need it to be Saturday.
I do too.
He's a good player. I don't have a whole bunch to say about him.
There's just not a lot to see on this.
There's not a lot to see, but I think he's the next most effective player outside of Hendrickson. And they try to find a way to get those guys both on the field at the same time. But I don't have a whole bunch. You probably got more than me.
So it was somebody that you talked about earlier, not directly. He had the pick 6 against Pittsburgh. Cam Taylor-Britt. I really like him. I think he's a great player.
Why the lack of success this season?
Say that again?
Why the lack of success this season for Taylor-Britt?
Oh, my God. The whole defense has just not played well. I mean, everybody's just teeing off on him. So, he's a good player, but if you're not surrounded by other good players, then, you could say Deron Bland is a good player, and teams have still been able to throw against the Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs is a good player. Teams have still been able to throw against the Cowboys. So, the defense as a whole just hasn't been good. And you look at some of the offenses they've played. I mean, Baltimore, Kansas City, Washington, Philly, Pittsburgh now, I guess, with Russell Wilson and how he's been playing. But Cam Taylor-Britt's a guy who's still made plays. He's got 12 passes defended this year. That's 4th in the league. He has the 2 interceptions, that pick 6 last week against Pittsburgh, albeit how Isaiah described it earlier. But he's a guy who's growing. It's only his 3rd season. He was a 2nd-round pick out of Nebraska. But when he's on, he's really on for this Bengals defense. And I think that, that's a guy that you got to watch out for when you do throw against this team, because he can make a play.
Yeah, I was going to say Taylor Britt, but I'm going to add one other.
You're stealing off of Tommy's homework?
No. That was actually a thought like mine. We already talked about this earlier.
Nobody steals
we're on the
from
same
Tony.
frequency.
Hey,
I'm going Jermaine Pratt. Team leader in tackles, 110 combined tackles at linebacker. And this game is going to be that much more put on him in the absence of Logan Wilson. But not only is he a tackling machine, he can cover. He has 4 pass deflections. He has an interception this season. But when you're in his vicinity, protect the ball. He will punch that ball out. He has a couple of forced fumbles. He's always looking for that to jar the ball free. So whether it be Trey Hendrickson, Taylor Britt, and now we're talking Jermaine Pratt, there are 2 or 3 names that you need to keep an eye on. And like I said, Jermaine Pratt, he's going to be center field, or not center field, but in the heart of that defense. Just be careful when you're around him, because he's not great in run defense, but he doesn't miss a lot of tackles either. So for as much as the defensive unit misses tackles, not so much Jermaine Pratt.
And
but he's the one that's locked up like Akon. That's why he can't move.
Yeah,
he cannot move 2 directions.
Oh no! Once he sets sight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the pit bull.
You give him a beeline.
He doesn't drop gear and change.
No, he can't.
It's 100%
forward.
Missile. Right.
Forward momentum.
Cowboys kind of have a similar player at safety, Donovan, where it's 1 gear, go. But if he has to drop gears and change directions, not so much his bag.
All right, boys. That'll be it for Talkin Cowboys today. Thank you so much for joining us here in the SWPC podcast studio. A little aggressive, Isaiah. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. Cowboys Storyline is up next. We will see you tomorrow for a Say It With Your Chest Friday. See you later, boys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!